One of the challenges that all teachers seem to have is conflict resolution. When you put a bunch of kids together, they're going to argue, they're going to fight. No matter how good their social skills are, there'll be some conflicts. And many children come to school without good peer social skills, so there's even more conflict. So this is one of the things you want to teach right away at the beginning of the school year and reinforce. It takes a long time for children to learn this. But your goal is for them to be able to solve conflicts themselves, because you don't want to be peppered with problems all school year where you're solving all these minor problems. He took my pencil, she took this, he said this to me, then blah. No. Teach conflict resolution so that they can work on this themselves. Here are the steps that I recommend for conflict resolution, and these are the steps that you teach children to use. Your steps are going to be a little bit different when you model it, and I'll show you what I mean by that. The first thing in conflict resolution is to get the children to stop and calm down. Until they've calmed down, they can't resolve the conflict. So if you haven't yet taught calm down skills, you got to start with that. There's another video that explains how to teach children to calm down, and that's critical. So number one, stop and calm down. As the teacher, your role is to identify their feelings. So you might say something like, John, I see that you're really angry. Maria, I see that you're frustrated. This also helps them to learn to regulate their emotions because you're putting names on their feelings, and it helps them to recognize it. The second step is to teach the children to listen to each other. In the beginning, you're going to model this. So you're going to listen to each child and let them have a good amount of time to speak without being interrupted. It's very important not to let them interrupt each other because you're teaching them how to do this on their own. Don't jump in. Don't think that you know who's at fault or not. It really doesn't matter, because what's important is the process. So once you've heard both sides of the story, and if you've listened well, this will help children calm down because they feel heard. Once you've listened to both sides of the story, you're going to go to step 3, which is to figure out what the problem really is. And you're going to state the problem. Both of you want this pencil. Or one of you said a mean thing and then the other one responded with a mean thing. So state the problem really clearly and specifically, because you can't solve it until you really know what the problem is. Then you go to step 4. This is important, again, in modeling how to think of a solution. You want to first ask the children, what do you think is the solution? And you're not going for one solution. So you might say something like, what are some solutions that we could do to get this idea that there are many possible ways to solve a problem? Well, he could give me my pencil back. Is there any other solution? I could go get another pencil. We could find some more pencils. We could all use pens. There are a lot of other possibilities, right? So try to generate 2 or 3 solutions at this step, because you're modeling for them how to think creatively. Finally, you're going to go to step 5, and you're going to pick one of those solutions to try out. It's best if the children agree on what the solution is. And then your job as a teacher is to monitor that. While they're trying it out, keep an eye on it and see if it's working. If it's working, be sure to go over it and give the children positive feedback on the process that they used. Wow, you guys did a great job figuring out how to solve that problem. I really like the way you're working together now. Something like that. Now you might be thinking, I don't have time to go through this whole process every time there's a conflict. That's true. But you might have time to do it once in a while. So pick your moments carefully. Let this be a teachable moment where you can go through these steps, and you're also modeling for all of the kids that are also listening in and watching you. And it'll make your life so much easier if you can get the kids to do some of this on their own. So you want to first start out by teaching this process to the whole class. Do a whole class activity, give them time to practice with each other, give them some scenarios that they can work on. There are scenarios in the Positive Field Guide that you can use. And then once you've taught it to the whole class, you can focus on the children who need a little bit of extra help and work with them specifically to learn these steps. Once you've figured out how to teach conflict resolution, you'll be so much happier when you notice children start solving those problems on their own.